to you, Michael. Where did England go wrong?
Well, I thought Joe Root was very honest. He has to be. England have been out-bowled, certainly out-batted, and I think the fielding's been a different kind of proposition as well. But it's the batting, to be bowled out for 122 on this kind of pitch. A concern for me with this England team is they're so fragile, and they always seem to take the wrong option. So I call it situation players. I don't think they play the situation well enough. So when the ball's swinging around, they still play the same way. They still play the drives. You look at it from a New Zealand perspective, they were able to play the situation better. So when the ball was swinging, they were leaving the ball, playing for their off stump. And as soon as it stopped swinging, it was there that they capitalised. But, real worries for the England batting.
We heard from Joe Root talk about mindset and technique and to maybe take a look at all of their scoring options after this test match. What did you make of their kind of setups, but also the way they approached it mentally?
It was never great just looking at the dismissals, but what we do see, these are good players. These are players who have scored test hundreds before. Sibley's got 2, Burns has got 2 in the Ashes. He's got a big 100 here, Edgbaston. The problem I have with this batting line is when the pressure comes on, they can't handle it. They make the wrong decisions. Burns, they're 80 runs behind. He nicks the second ball playing a really big drive. That's not technique, that's mental frailties under pressure, and they're going to have to look at themselves, address the situation, be honest in these next 5 or 6 weeks and make a difference, because they're going to be put under the same pressure against India. This is what Test cricket is, cricket played under pressure, and they're going to have to find a way.
What contributes to that, Vaughan? Is that the advent of T20 cricket and wanting to get after the ball? Is it not playing enough of the longer format stuff?
We can give them excuses. New Zealand play the same kind of cricket. They play T20 cricket and they're playing Test match cricket the right way. Ultimately, I'm with Cookie. I just don't think they're making the right decisions. I believe your technique has to look out for you when you're not quite right. When the ball's doing something and you don't quite pick up length properly, I believe your technique have to look out for you. I don't think there's many in that top 7 that really have techniques, the mind more importantly, that look after them when the ball's doing something or they're misjudging length. So there's real worries for the batting lineup.
What do you see as the main differences?
Well, it's an interesting one. New Zealand were very clinical in both test matches, and I think outplayed England obviously in all 3 departments, but the batting was the big difference. The top 6 is what you rely on to get a majority of your runs, and if that top 6 doesn't come through and doesn't provide the bulk of the runs, then you're under pressure, and that graph perfectly illustrates it. New Zealand top 6 average 43, 44. England just 26, 25, 26, which is not enough for a top 6. And look at the bottom 4 wickets for England. The tail wagged and actually kept things a lot closer than what it was. So to me, that was the main difference between the 2 sides. But in fairness, England were behind New Zealand in all departments.
It feels like a bit of a concern that it seems like England have gone backwards. They've got Butler and Stokes to come back for the India series, but makes it very hard, doesn't it, in terms of what they do going forward? So they stick with the younger players, or do they look at other options, maybe more experienced options?
Well, I personally would look at David Milan. I'm a big believer that you have to give players the chance. I think a few of these younger players have had enough of a chance now. David Milan would be one player that I'd be looking to bring into this Test match team, potentially to bat at number 3.
I don't think there's going to be massive changes. These are the guys who scored the big runs in Canada cricket to give them a chance. That's why they played. It's down to them. It's not the coaches. Then they've got to front up to it. It's so exciting as a player. If you come through this, they can go and have really long careers and successful careers.